Hi everybody, Carissa here with Inky Fairy Designs, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I am here on the Brutus Monroe YouTube channel, and I'm going to share with you the new DecoFoil Transfer Gel Duo and how I use it with stenciling. I'm going to be using some DecoFoil in rose gold. I don't know if you can tell, but this color palette that I'm using today definitely matches my nails. I love like a teal green color and rose gold. So pretty. So I decided to use the Speckled Egg-Cardstock from Brutus Monroe as my base and then do the foiling on top. So I pulled out the Digital Drops Mixed Media Stencil and I placed it on top of my cardstock. Then I flipped it over and I'm placing some purple tape on the back to secure it in place so it doesn't move while I put the transfer gel through the stencil. So I pulled out one of my palette knives that has more of a straight wide edge so that I could get a nice even coverage through the stencil. This is the first time that I have used the new Transfer Gel Duo, and what's special about this is that you can use it two ways. You can use it with a heat, like a laminator or some type of tool like that, or you can use it through your die cutting machine with pressure instead of the heat, and that is what I'm going to be doing today. I think it's taking foiling to a whole new level. It's going to make foiling more accessible to a lot of you who may not have access to a laminator or mink machine or anything like that, and you'll be able to get those really beautiful foil effects. So I just placed a thin layer through the stencil. Now I'm gently pulling up that stencil to reveal the design, and when it is wet, when it is first applied, it has a milky look to it. About an hour later it dries tacky, and you can tell it's completely dry when it is clear, and that's when you're ready to do your foiling. So I cut down a sheet of that rose gold foil to cover that cardstock panel, and you can see I've pulled out my Sizzix Big Shot machine, placed it in my sandwich. I did add a shim of another piece of cardstock on top of the foiling. Not sure if that was necessary, but I felt since we are doing the foiling with the pressure, adding that little bit of security didn't hurt, and it worked beautifully. Now I could try it without that, but since it worked so well, I think I'll just keep doing that. So now I'm removing that cardstock, and here's where the magic happens, revealing that beautiful pattern that foiled perfectly just using your die cutting machine. So that is awesome. It's absolutely perfect. Where you see a little bit of imperfections is where the transfer gel did not go, I wasn't super even with that through the stencil. So all I'm going to do is trim that stuff off that I didn't like, and take about 1/8 of an inch off each edge, or maybe 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off each side and just remove the little bit of imperfection. But in the middle of the card and almost all the way to the end, it was perfect. So that is why I started with a 4 1/4 and 5 1/2 sheet in case I needed to cut any of that down. So I'm using the Not Your Mama's Ultra Heavy Cardstock for my card base today. This stuff is amazing. It's the first time I'm using it. It's a 130-pound weight cardstock, and it is amazing for your card bases. There is no wobbling here when I put this card together. So I cut that in half and scored it at 5 1/2 to create a top folding card. Now here you're seeing my first idea. I decided I tried to just stamp a simple sentiment in the middle where I didn't have any of the foiling, and I didn't really like it. So here I'm going to show you how I fixed it without having to go through the whole process again because that foiling is perfect. I just needed to cover up this part, which I didn't really like. So I pulled out my my square dies from Brutus Monroe and figured out which size would cover that area. And now I'm going to stamp these super cute shoes onto some watercolor paper. I'm using cold press 140-pound watercolor paper. This stamp set is a 2x3 stamp set. It's called Christopher Shoes. You guys all know Christopher Monroe, or Christopher from Brutus Monroe. Loves his Chuck Taylors, and so this stamp set is just, you know, epitomizes him. And so I am going to stamp that with the Raven Detail ink and onto the watercolor paper. So it is 140-pound cold press paper. It has a lot of texture. So I use my MISTI in order to stamp more than once. I end up having to stamp it 3 times to get a really good crisp impression. I'm only going to show you 2 of them here in the video so you can see it's pretty good, but doing it 2 more times really crisps that up onto that watercolor paper. And I'm just going to do a little bit of simple watercoloring. But first, I was inspired. Oh, look, I have a little helper there. My daughter likes to kind of come and look over my desk and see what I'm doing, especially during either nap time or bedtime when she gets to be a little bit of fussy. So what I did, I also stamped the shoes onto a piece of fallen snow glitter cardstock, and I wanted to do that so that I could fussy cut just the soles of the shoes. So if you guys saw last year, Christopher had his 5-year anniversary with Brutus Monroe, the store opening and the product and everything, and he had shoes specially made for the event that had Swarovski, and I'm saying that wrong, but they had the crystals all along the edges of the sole of the shoe. You can actually check out his YouTube channel. He shows them to you in a walkthrough of the store recently, and they're amazing. And when I got the glitter cardstock, I thought I had to do that. I had to fussy cut that to, you know, make them all sparkly. So here I'm going to do a little bit of simple watercoloring. I have some of my favorite Daniel Smith grays always out on my desk, and I just decided to give them a little bit of black color, just your traditional Converse shoe here, and just simply taking a small number 2 round watercolor brush and filling in that color. And just very simple watercoloring, and it's a small image, so it really doesn't take too long. I did speed it up a little bit here for the video, so I hope that you guys are enjoying it and liking the way that this card turned out. I am really loving the Transfer Gel Duo. It's a game changer for foiling, and it worked so well through the stencils that I tried it with. And I can't wait to do more foiling with it. I have so many more ideas. I've had DecoFoils forever, and I have a laminator, but I just, you know, it's a process. You have to pull out the laminator, you have to let it heat up. You want it to be really nice and hot when you're doing foiling, and then you either need toner sheets, toner images, or like the other transfer gel that only used heat. So it was a process. And if you guys have ever followed me on YouTube or my blog, you know I love simple. I love things that I can just do right away. My suggestion would be, if you're going to do a bunch of backgrounds, just do them all in one session. Get all your stencils and all that and do that and let them all set aside, and then you can foil them all at once. So here I am using the Easy Squeeze Crystal Clear glue, and it is, just like it says, a very easy squeeze. You do not need to put a lot of pressure to get that glue flowing out, and it's perfect. The applicator is just the right size. You can get into those detail areas, and I don't feel like it's going to give me any clogging issues either. So here you can see I fussy cut that glitter paper and glued it on top of my shoes. Added a little bit of foam tape on the back of this panel, and now I'm just going to place it right on top of that foiled background, covering up the first idea I had that didn't work out. I didn't like it, and now I love how this card turned out. I think the foiling really kind of plays off the sparkle in the shoes, and I love that sentiment, one step at a time, because I think we could all use that reminder right now as we are going through some crazy unprecedented times, and just realizing that we just take it one day, one step at a time, and we're going to come out on the other side together. So here are some close-ups of this card. I hope you enjoyed this video. I loved putting it together and creating this card for you. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel at Inky Fairy Designs, as well as the Brutus Monroe YouTube channel here. If you create something based on this card, please hashtag create your own ending and Brutus Monroe, as well as me at Inky Fairy Designs. I'd love to come by and see what you create. Until next time, guys, stay safe. Bye.